So straight talking.
Speak for yourself.
I had enough talking. What's going on, everyone? I'm back with a couple of guests and maybe some more along the way. Who knows? Welcome back to your favorite football takeover number 2. It was highly requested.
You watch
it. And don't forget, when you drop a comment in the live chat, you're going to be entered in for a giveaway tonight to win this blaster box because I hit 301 subscribers, and I've been waiting for football takeover number 2 to finally give it away. So make sure to drop your name or a comment in the thing, and we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to draw out of a hat because that's how we do it here. And if you don't know, I'll let my good panel of guests introduce themselves tonight. So we'll start off with Christopher.
Howdy, I'm Christopher Works. Hockey guy, normally hockey and whatever else kind of guy stuff. Take it away to whoever's next.
I'll go next. I'm Vince, the sports card ripping teacher, and honestly, when we had this first football takeover, I think the next day, in fact, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, and I'm like, I am never doing that again. No way, no how.
I didn't realize it was that game.
It might have been the next week, but it came quick, and I was like, that thing jinxed the whole operation. But we're okay. We're all right. It worked out.
And then we go on to our next guest right underneath me.
Hi, it's me. The man who needs no introduction.
Mr. Gum himself.
Yeah, 40 years old the other day was not pleasant. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it ate through the card, ate through my soul.
Oh.
So, Zach, let me ask before we get to other more important things.
Yes.
I had a pack about a week ago. It was all just gum dust. Have you ever seen that before?
Where it had basically pulverized?
Pretty much. I just took some and made some war paint on there and then just went to work for the rest of the day. But it was
every now and that is the sign of somebody was just throwing it around without a care or slammed something, or it was at the bottom of a stack.
Okay.
I was at a shop actually today, and they had some of the old packs with gum in them, and I was kind of feeling them, and there were some that you can see where the gum is supposed to be, and it was just nothing. It was just, you can see the package was all squishy. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, because after about 20 minutes, it just gets so fragile that if you think about it too hard, it'll just explode into nothing.
Yeah.
Well, let's give a quick shout out to everyone who's popping in the chat so far. We have Matthew Pitsley in here. What's going on, Matthew? Thanks for coming. We have Robert Trolls Pop. We're not talking to Robert after what he did for April Fools. He is on friend probation right now. The way he tricked everyone, I tell you. We got Barry in the house. What's going on, Barry? We have my good friend Dig It A. He changed his channel name. He put the A on the end. Then we have Alex J's Mix. And I think that's about it right now.
Yeah.
Dig It has a question right now. It's not football related, but he's going to ask it anyway. Pop it up here on the screen. Everyone can have a take turn on the answer. Is first question of the night: where do the Raptors finish this year?
Probably Toronto. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I have not watched any NBA since the slam dunk contest, and the Bulls had the kid from Lithuania, so I wanted him to win the slam dunk contest, and he lost. So I really haven't watched anything since then.
Yeah, he shouldn't have lost that actually, but that's a whole other argument there. I was watching some of that too, the highlights and the replay of that. That was
That goes up.
Cool.
So where are? I'm trying to look here.
Uh-oh. He's up to something.
He's digging deep. Teaches digging deep here.
Well, okay.
Well,
so
he's doing that.
I mean, the
Good.
Raptors are chasing the Bulls. So at this point of the year, if you're below the Bulls, it's pretty much just make your summer vacation plans, get into baseball, I think. So, and they lost 2 in a row. Yeah, it's the end of the year for the Raptors. Looks like Vince Carter could come back.
He's still playing? He's like 1,000 years old.
I think he could, though.
No, he's still good, but it's just I'm surprised he's still there. Like the guy has played at such a high level his entire career. Good for him, man.
I don't think Vince Carter's really playing still, is he?
I don't know. I don't follow basketball enough, so I don't know. I watch the big games.
2019-20 was his last season, and he's in the Hall of Fame too. So I mean.
And I'm pretty sure that season he finished off with the Hawks. That was his last team they played for.
He did, because that's where I sent to get his autograph, because he is a good autograph signer, but he keeps a record. You only get one from him.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep. Only get one.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter what you send. If you say, hey, you got a couple more, he just does one and done.
Nope, one and done. And you know what? That's cool, because he applies it to everybody.
For sure.
You know what? I appreciate it.
So you have, Zach, you now have like 16 kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
How many different ways can you spell to eBay?
Yes, sir. Well, why don't we get started on tonight's theme, because I know everyone's digging for it and waiting for it, and I know it's going to be a few good rants coming out of tonight, so that's going to be even better must-see TV.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
We got Aaron backstage coming in.
What's going on?
We got the whole gang.
Aaron?
You guys just walked in the door. Sorry, I'm a little late.
Yeah, Aaron was out in the line to get some Pokemon cards. Did you even get them?
Yes, I did. There were 2 ETBs left when I got there, so I managed to grab one, as well as a few loose booster packs. So I scored a little bit of Pokemon today.
Oh my gosh!
Now we know what's on Aloha Friday later. Just a cheap plug. For you.
It was ridiculous. I waited almost an hour, I think, to get some Pokemon cards here. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I was at a store the other day, or Costco, and people were constantly, "Where's the Pokemon card? Where's the Pokemon cards?" I'm like, and there are people that like you look at, you're like, "Are you really looking for the Pokemon cards, or are you just trying to?" Yeah, they were going crazy for them at the store the other day. It was ridiculous.
Make sure to lift up all the shelves, check behind all the things in the home goods aisle. That's where they hide them.
People are hiding them.
Yeah, they are. I actually found them I pulled something off the shelf in the grocery area at a Target, and they were behind there.
I'll tell you where the best secret hiding spot that nobody will check is. A little voice in my head told me to check the female toiletries section.
Oh my god!
Yep,
it's the best hiding spot.
I found a couple blasters of something in the aisle that had all the candles at Target once.
My boys, they saw Lively Card Collector find some in some like old camping coolers. So now, like, Jax will go and look in the camping section, open up all the coolers. He'll lift up that little tray underneath. It's embarrassing.
And it's gotten sad. It really.
I used to do that on Black Friday. I go in the day before and I throw stuff in like the stove and the refrigerator, and then I go back the day after and get all this stuff after. Where'd you find all this stuff? I don't know. So
it's ridiculous.
All the tricks.
I wouldn't be a show if we didn't say Kamish missed this one again. I gave him at least 3 months head of time to let him know, but he had to work, so he better not be bitching and complaining that he didn't get to make it.
But at least he responded this time.
He did.
He did respond, but his pro team is so bad, I don't think he wanted to show up.
But I gave him the link anyway in case he does. So if he does pop on, we'll give it to him. But yeah, let's get started. How are we looking for football season for everyone's teams? What are your ups and your downs going to be this year? We'll start with Aaron, since he just came in.
I'm here to represent the Raiders delegation. So, you know how we roll.
The Silver Army.
Pete
That's
Carroll,
right.
Let's go. I
think we're going to have a great year this year. You know, the Raiders have had high expectations for the last 5 or 6 years to be playoff competitive, and that is mostly not true. But I think this year, you know, we've got a veteran quarterback, we've got a good head coach now, and you know, as long as all players don't get trouble on the Las Vegas, we're gonna have a great year this year, I think. So, you know, the problem is we play in a tough division. You know, we got the Broncos and we got the Chiefs. Right. So, and the Chargers aren't too bad.
I firmly believe, though, that if Pete Carroll just gets them to the playoffs, he will be elected Pope of Las Vegas.
Oh yes, yes.
True. He will. Oh God, if they get to the playoffs, or even if they get past the first game, they'll be amazing. But
and I've never heard in all of my sports knowledge of a coach taking a job out of spite for another coach in that division.
Yeah.
Because it is well documented that Pete Carroll hates with a passion Jim Harbaugh.
And
I believe that.
Pete Carroll is one of my least favorite coaches out there, but I like that he did that.
He said it. He flat out said it. He said, I hate Jim Harbaugh, and I'm going to be a thorn in his side for the next 2 years. I am here for it.
If we get to the playoffs, it would be a big win, though. That's for sure. It's been a minute. So
the Silver Army needs something to cheer for. They've had some rough couple of years.
I'd love to see
rough 20 years.
Oh, I was trying to be nice.
So last time we had any success, we went to the Super Bowl. I was still in high school, so and we haven't won a Super Bowl since the year I was born. So that'll tell you how old I am. Pretty getting up there. It's been a minute. That's the Raiders, though. I'm optimistic this season, and you have to be. You
have to have the cautious optimism.
That's right.
What are you looking for? What do you think they need to pick up for the draft this year? Because we got a good draft class at least from top 10 wise. After that, could be anyone's game.
We need a running back. Raiders need a running back real bad. So the way I see it is, last year was very interesting. You see the running game taking the balance in the NFL versus the passing game a little bit more. So there's a running back from Boise State. I think he's the first off the board, and that's the running back I want. Did you see his collegiate stats? They're like Madden numbers. It's ridiculous. Like 30 something touchdowns.
Yeah, they're crazy.
But absolutely ridiculous.
Here's the only problem with that. The running back position has been so devalued that he won't go until day 2, maybe day 3, the first running back.
I think he'll be a top pick still.
The Ohio State kids, they have a pair of them that are really good.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember his name. Either way, the starter for Ohio State had a monster year. He's going to be a good one. There's a couple really good potential running backs that you could get day 3.
We might just end up taking 2, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. That's how bad our running game was last year. Like, it was just horrible.
I don't think you guys had all
day.
Well, I feel like today you almost need 2 really good running backs. I mean, I love Josh Jacobs this past year, but the plan was to have him and A.J. Dillon running, or Marshawn Lloyd. Both got injured for the year because the life expectancy of a running back these days is only a couple of years. And when I listen to the Green Bay radio, they keep talking about, like, what are we going to do after Josh Jacobs? And they're talking about a couple more years with him where they don't have a long lifespan.
Yeah, there's that seems like now the running backs, they got 4 years at max, five at max lately. So seems That's what from what I've seen, what I've been hearing too as well. So
usually when they hit age 30, that's when the running backs are. That's a fall off right there. It's like, unless you're
30,
Emmitt Smith or something, or Frank.
30 is the age for pretty much every position. Look at Tyreek Hill. In one word, washed. Washed.
Yeah. No, definitely. Just give a quick shout out to some new people who popped in. Budget Rips, what's going on? And DK, Have It Your Way is in here as well. Thanks for coming in, guys. So I guess we'll move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers fan we have in the room. Zach, what are your team's ups and downs for this year?
Well, the down is Mike Tomlin, because to quote Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp in regards to he's never had a losing season, no one cares. He said that live on television because he's right. Nobody cares. They have this idea that Aaron Rodgers is the answer. What the question is, I don't know. But I would much rather have Mason Rudolph run the entire season. I don't care. I want it so bad. I want 0-17. I want them to get blown out by a margin of 30 every game just to show Mike Tomlin how awful of a coach he is. And I hope there's no chance, but I hope that he hears this, because he's a fraud, an absolute fraud. Oh, Gabe, never had a losing season. Yeah, well, you've also haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Cameron Hayward, arguably first ballot Hall of Fame defensive end, one of the greatest of all time in Pittsburgh Steelers recent history. Great player. 2 playoff wins in the entirety of his career. TJ Watt has never won a playoff game.
Really? Wow.
Never. Because he was drafted 2017. Really? The last time the Steelers won a playoff game was the year before.
That's right.
So, if the season ended on week 11,
I got Watt's rookie card. I've got Watt's rookie card, and you're right. Yeah, it's 7. That's been a while. Ooh.
So how long has Tomlin been there for? Almost 20 years?
He came in,
more than 15 probably.
2007 was his first year.
So, I mean, that's a long time, and you figure at some point you just get fired because you're not making Super Bowls, you're not making championships.
But he cannot get fired because he has it written into his contract. He has final say in all personnel decisions, even over the general manager.
Oh, yeah, he's got some weird there was an argument that's always every season in Pennsylvania here. There's always a big argument. All the Steelers raid talk guys, all the Steelers sports guys talk about that. Why isn't he fired? Why isn't he fired? And the same thing, he brought his contract. He weaseled that in there somehow, and man.
Well, and it's also because Art Rooney is what they call a rhino. Rooney in name only. He is a businessman. He says he wants to be just good enough to be quote unquote successful, but he does not want to be that great that he has to pay out.
I mean, they're probably still making money hand over fist.
That record. Every sports franchise is printing money at this point.
Zach, you might know, in like the Pittsburgh area, throughout almost cut Pennsylvania in thirds almost. Half of it is just nothing but black and gold, and the other half third is green, and then you got the purple, the bottom little corner that's purple for the Ravens, all the Ravens fans. But you can't go into any store, like clothing store, and there is Steelers stuff everywhere, and it's bought up all year round. Not just like during football season, people are buying it, so they make money hand over fist. On jerseys 100%. And stuff.
Because they're one of the oldest franchises, a storied franchise.
Yep.
But the problem is, what have you done for me lately? And the answer is nothing.
Nothing, but it keeps the fans keep coming. Like they keep coming back, and the stadium is, even when they're having a bad, like this year, when they're having a bad year, they were having a bad year this past season. The stadium was still full.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It was packed, and people, yeah.
He just doesn't care. Rooney does not care. He's a businessman. What his father and his older brother, they would be rolling in their graves looking at what he has done to this franchise.
Yeah. But they roll in their graves and they're like, what are you doing to our team, our history? But then they'd go, wait, you got all this money in your pocket? Well,
no,
you
Art Rooney wanted to win. The Chief,
true.
He wanted to win. He didn't
True,
care
he
about
did
money.
want to. Yeah, he spent a lot of money.
Yeah, but not as much as the owners now. He was like,
Yeah.
we want to win in addition to making money because winning brings money.
Yeah, winning makes money, and winning and now, but then also the merchandising side wasn't as big as it is nowadays too, and they've got money. It's everywhere, and right here.
But that aside,
what's going on, Maiden? Thanks for coming.
That aside, they need to beef up the defensive line because Cam Hayward is on his last year. Larry Ogunjobi left. Ha, 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 Buffalo. How's that for you? Signs and immediately suspended for 6 games.
That's rough.
My dad asked me, do you think they knew? 100% they knew.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why they
for
let him
sure.
go.
They knew.
That's why
They totally knew.
What about the draft for your team, Zach? What do you think they're looking for in the draft there?
Honestly, they won't. I think it's good. I think really what they need to do, they need to beef up both of the lines, offense and defense. Receivers, they just picked up DK Metcalf. I really hope they trade George Pickens. I really hope. I want him gone. He's a cancer.
That's the thing around here. Like, he's always everybody hates him around here, and it's just, why isn't he gone? But somebody likes him somewhere.
Mike Tomlin. He has Antonio Brown level ego with 40% of Antonio Brown's talent.
Yep.
Yes.
Brown skated for a long time because there was a 3-year period. Antonio Brown was the best receiver in the NFL by a wide margin.
Oh, he did catch the ball.
Yes.
Sure, get open.
Yep.
George Pickens is not that guy. He never will be. He has a bad attitude. We don't need him. We can trade him, recoup that 2nd-round pick for DK, and let's go.
Yeah, they could do that. You got to find a team willing to take him, though.
What team would want that cancer? He's going to be a Raider. Oh, my goodness.
New York Jets. No, I'll throw you out 3 teams right now. The Jets, the Giants, and the Bears.
Yeah. I can see the Bears, but
the Bears are probably scared because of the Chase Claypool incident. God.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
God, he was pathetic. But yeah, they need to tear that team down from the top down.
Let's go over to Vince and the Green Bay Packers. Vince, what about you? What are your ups and downs for the season?
Well, I feel like it was a down year for the Packers, and they still won 11 games. Still definitely missing that big wide receiver. And going into last year, they had 5 guys that were there, but no one took that next step to make themselves the number one. They all just kind of got a little bit better or stayed the same. And that was the big thing I feel like missing for their offense last year. Just no one guy to throw the football to. And as a Packer fan, you know how they operate. In the offseason, they're not going to go after the top free agent. I mean, getting last year Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs was unheard of. But, the DK Metcalf stuff, we wanted him. I forget who else was out there, but Adams, all those would have been good options to have to make a young group better, but they didn't do that. So the draft, maybe. I feel like the defensive line definitely has to get better. I don't know if it was scheme or personnel, but they just could not get home. I mean, they paid Rashawn Gary a whole bunch of money. I think he had 4 sacks. And if it was scheme from last year, okay, but he's never had double-digit sacks in his life. Van Ness took a step backwards a little bit. So I am thinking in the draft, they probably need 3 areas. Cornerback, I think Jair is going to be gone. They're just trying to find someone to take on that contract before they cut him, but he'll probably be cut. And once he's cut, everyone's going to line up. I mean, if the guy is healthy, he's a good player, wide receiver or a defensive tackle. And it's been a long time since the Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round. They drafted back to get Jordy Nelson when he was a rookie in the second round. But I think Javon Walker was the last first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers. And I would love the kid from Ohio State, Abeka, or whatever his name is. And he's projected as like number 20, which is only a couple of picks off from the Packers. But I'm thinking defensive tackle. That's kind of the safe, gritty Green Bay pick, I think.
And necessary.
Nice.
Absolutely
Yes,
necessary.
yes. And Notre Dame is on the right track. So we won't spend any time going over that. I think they're with Marcus Freeman, the draft class. Now they did lose a lot of guys to the portal, but that's only because those guys were kind of like subs who played big parts for injuries, but those guys are coming back supposedly. So I am feeling good about the Irish.
All right, let's move on. Christopher Works, why don't you tell us about what team you go for and your ups and downs?
I'm actually a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. I'm not a Brady fan. I never was a Brady fan, but I'm not going to argue that he gave us the ring. So just saying that there. Yeah, actually, I kind of miss having hit. If he wish someone will, we could use not really use quarterback, but they could use someone to defend the quarterback, more of an offensive line. But their defense this past year, they would be up. They'd score. Good receivers. I can't think of the guy's name right now. It's usually once football season ends, I kind of just forget about it. But that's just kind of what happens sometimes. But we could really use the defensive line. I think I was looking at some of the projections for draft as they were looking for defense, and some oh gosh, I was just trying to look it up and double check it, but they were looking, I forget who it was, but they were looking for defensive and also some possible expanded on their receiving, because they had a few receiving blunders over the season. But I don't know. I can't think of the guy's name now. My brain I was trying to look it up, but I don't know. Tampa's always been the team that nobody thinks is going to win anything or do anything, and they do stuff. And I think that was their ups from last year. Is nobody thought they'd make it to the playoffs, and they made it. Got stupid errors late in the game, but that's okay. What team doesn't have calls and whatnot that they don't want to have happen? But is what it is.
I wouldn't sleep on Tampa. They're a great team. Yeah,
they are a good team. But
I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm glad he found a home. That's good.
Yeah, Mayfield. That's one of the things. Mayfield he's a good quarterback, but I think sometimes he lacks a little bit of experience. But I think that he is that's where I kind of wish if Brady was still there, he could learn from Brady a little more. Maybe that's my thought.
He was just never given a break. Like he was with Cleveland. That's a death sentence.
He was with Cleveland, and Cleveland.
He got them to the playoffs. So
exactly, despite everything, he took them to the playoffs.
Yeah,
and Baker
best quarterback they've had in years. Sorry, Vince.
No, and I feel like Baker has that where if you're down by 2 touchdowns late, that's not insurmountable to him. He has that attitude where he's not going to hang his head. He may throw a pick when he goes out there trying to force to make something happen, but it kind of has that fire to him a little bit where if he
does have that. Yes. And he's got that fire that he does want to say, hey, look, we're not going to give up. But yeah, especially when he was at Cleveland, he would do that, and because Cleveland's nothing to get, everything against Cleveland sucked. Cleveland sucked, and he'd throw. He didn't have any offensive. He didn't have anybody in front of him. He didn't have anybody that could catch for him, and they'd blame him for throwing it. And it's he actually did really good with Tampa, made them a lot better than what they thought, but he just doesn't have. There wasn't enough. Personally, I don't think enough offense to protect him, and the defense wasn't there to help him when he would get the lead, or if he was down, like you say, Vince, he was down a little bit. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't help him, say, "Hey, we're going to try and keep this so that you guys got a chance." The defense never seemed to do that, but that's kind of the way Tampa's always been. The defense, or I shouldn't say always been. For a while, Tampa had an awesome defense, iffy offense, iffy quarterbacks, iffy receiving, but this past season it was just, I don't know. That's my opinion from when I saw it, watching it. But
I sense a theme of everyone, and as flashy as football's gotten, it still comes down to the offensive line, defensive line, the guys that get no respect, don't get the money at all. Like, it comes down to them controlling the game.
That's it.
Yeah.
He who wins the battle of the lines wins the game.
Yep.
99 times out of 100.
Well, I guess that leaves me, and the only thing I have to say is, wow, Washington. Wow.
They had a very good offseason. Very good. Didn't they sign Laramie Tunsil?
Yep.
I think
That's
they did, yeah.
Big, that's a huge pickup. That is
in
massive.
Jaden Daniels, we trust.
I would.
Let's
He
just say that.
Here.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go back to the Redskins, which is another great thing.
About friggin' time, man.
Yeah.
So
as someone who lived in that area for a long time, that was an argument for years and years and years, and that was just a stupid. I just that's one of those. Oh God, they're gonna when that whole thing happened, but yeah.
Yeah,
People
no,
forget
but
that a tribal member that designed the logo modeled after one of their tribal elders.
And was very upset. He was
Angry,
publicly
furious.
upset that you're taking my logo and trashing it. I don't know if they're going to get the logo back or not, but
I think it'll make an appearance probably in a third uniform.
Yeah, but that whole thing down there, it's just I lived in that area for years, and that's just, oh my gosh. Granted, I've been to several games down there. It's always a fun atmosphere, but it's just that whole argument there always I shake my head at it and go, "Oh, come on, guys."
I think we do.
But
state politics, right? And then for them to make a controversy out of it and politicize the sports is upsetting.
We watch sports to get away from that nonsense.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, huge season for Washington. From going last place to coming into 1 win shy going to the Super Bowl.
Well, on top of that, that is, I think, arguably the most miraculous 1 year turnaround in modern history of any sport. To go from that to the point where their stadium was literally crumbling and people didn't go there to the NFC Championship in 1 year.
Dude, that stadium, I remember when that stadium was built, and that wasn't that long ago. And there are stadiums that are older that are still in better shape than that stadium is.
Yeah,
that's the scary. And that it was never. It should have. Well, this is my personal opinion. Since it should have never been built there. It was a horrible place to have a stadium. Granted, it was a nice stadium on the inside until it went for the first few years, but after that, it's been a nightmare.
But Dan Quinn is bringing respect back to that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dan Quinn is backwards hat. I've never seen the man wear a hat forwards.
You know what? If he keeps doing that success, he can wear a propeller beanie for all anybody cares. If he could have that success continuously.
True.
So Dan, since you have to face it twice a year, what do you think of them trying to outlaw the tush push?
Yeah, it's a play. I don't see why you would outlaw it. It's a play.
Because
like
it goes
saying
against the rules, you cannot aid the runner. You can't do that with the running back.
And that's what I would say. I would say no, because you're going to just push the runner forward, and it's totally, against the defense, because if you stack all of your guys right there to stop it, they're just going to pass it out wide.
Yeah.
So you got to do something to help the defense, every once in a while, throw them a bone. And honestly, Jalen Hurts, he would pick up probably 99% of those first downs just with himself doing that. Not that they need all of the extra stuff, but I don't buy the player safety thing. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but you just should not be aiding the runner going forward.
And that's what the argument is. It's not just about the tush push. It's about aiding the runner, pushing the player with the ball, getting him down the line. And that's where I think everyone just stuck on the tush push at the touchdown thing, but it's at any point in time in the game, anybody push it other player.
You know what? I would like to see it not on the goal line. Maybe if it's to get the first down, that's fine. but when it's on the goal line, it shouldn't be allowed.
No, because
What about goal line
it's either
packages?
all
You
the
put
way or
like
none
9
of the
guys
way.
on the line. I don't see a problem with the tush push until, you know what, it's so broken that you can get a guaranteed first down. You run it 4 times or 3 times every play, then you ban the play. But until then, only one team does it successfully, and until other teams can prove that they have the interior offensive linemen to be able to do that consistently, or just don't get into 4th and short or 3rd and short. You know, you got to play better defense.
I don't know why, like, the Bills do not do it. Because, I mean, Josh Allen's another big boy. I mean, the Packers don't do it because Jordan Love doesn't have the strength to do it. They were actually doing it with Tucker Kraft a little bit with some decent success. So he would get 7-8 yards sometimes with them just pushing him from behind. But, like, a quarterback like Love, it doesn't work.
No, because he's going to get killed.
I think those kind of assisted run plays have always been a thing. You know, when you have a runner, you know, you'll have offensive linemen. They've always came up behind the runner and helped the runner. That's part of the offensive lineman's job.
Yeah,
that's
it has been
a thing in football.
And that's where their argument is, because it seems like you're aiding the runner, you're aiding the ball carrier, and in that
it's not
instance,
due to the tush push, though. That's the problem.
It's not.
They've always done that.
If you watch most of the other time when they're downfield, they're shoving at a defender in the pile. They're not touching the guy with the ball.
No. I've seen it where the offensive lineman will run up behind there and literally push the guy forward, push the pile forward.
Flag.
That's legal. Or change the rule, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a problem play, you know, as of now. Until more teams can run it consistently, no.
But
it's good for football. You need that. You need physicality in football, and otherwise, you know, it's
not rugby. They do that in rugby. You can get away with it in rugby. It's not rugby. Then change it to rugby, because they do that where they can grab the person and push them and carry them along, but you can't do that. It's just, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Or the refs call it dead before you let the push. You know, it's either that or, you know, it's. I don't think it's a problem though.
Yeah, but thank God. Just thank God the referees finally abandoned the Chiefs. I wish there were some Chiefs fans in the chat. Because I want to face, because what the Super Bowl showed exactly what would happen when a mediocre offense faces a top 5 defense. They got destroyed.
Yes.
I think they schemed really well in that game. That's what killed the Chiefs, is they got out schemed, out coached.
Andy Reid got put in his place.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I saw when I watched that game. You know, the Chiefs did not have answers. Usually the team who comes more prepared and wins those first few possessions, and they got absolutely wrecked. The Eagles were ready for them. They knew what they were doing.
The Eagles came in with a plan, and they executed it, and they won the game.
Yep.
So that leads me to my next question here for you guys. So Travis Kelce, upon retirement, is going to play one more year. So do the Chiefs go out on the swan song of Travis Kelce being champion, and then that's a walk-off for him? Or do you see a losing season coming?
During the regular
abandoned
season,
them because 75% of the NFL fan base last year before the playoffs started said they believed that the NFL was rigged.
It didn't hurt.
The traditional Mardi Gras colors of red and green, really? Never. I've been to Mardi Gras or to New Orleans and all that. I've never once seen red or green in Mardi Gras.
Isn't it like purple and yellow or like purple? Yeah, Mardi Gras purple and yellow, or there's no green. There's green, but it's not like one of the main colors. It's like a accent color or something like that.
Yeah, like they did with the red accent on the Super Bowl logo. It's red has never been involved in it. And isn't that odd that the Chiefs made it? But the accent got them.
We'll see if any of the other teams in the AFC are good enough to beat the Chiefs.
I think
that's
Maiden has the colors down.
Yeah, that's about right. Purple, yellow, and pink.
Yeah.
There's one player who I'd absolutely love to see win the Super Bowl, and I think he can, if he had maybe a couple more pieces around him. But I mean, he's got a big one, Derrick Henry, and that's Lamar Jackson. I really want to see him win a Super Bowl because he is an exciting player.
But the problem is, like, he's not that good when they have to rely on him to win the game. It's too much hero ball, and that's the reason why the running game is starting to take over, because all the new quarterbacks coming in are trained only in hero ball. Throw it deep and hope for a flag. No, you got to play proper football. Like you got to stand in the pocket. You got to look around. You got to make a throw. There's not too many quarterbacks in the NFL right now that can successfully do that.
No, there's too many of them that are worried about getting hit, or when they do get hit, somebody brushes them on the shoulder, they fall on the ground and cry. Oh my God, they're worse than
LeBron James.
These guys.
Soccer and basketball at this point.
yeah, they're worse than soccer guys. They're it's just lately they've been bad. It's bad, but. Or they sit there and look at the ref as soon as they hit the ground. They're like, "What? Where's the flag?" It's like, come on, get up, get going. What was it? Terry Bradshaw, I think, was ripping on one of the guys for asking one of the quarterbacks asking for a flag, and he was like, "What? My day, we'd gotten run over and bowled over, and then stood up and got up and dusted ourselves off, and the ref would have just looked at us and like,
back in the 70s,
you should watch
like
it was Mahomes, they would have thrown it out there
in the pile.
Yeah."
Mahomes trips on the grass, he gets a flag.
I lost all the respect for that what was the Super Bowl they lost? When Mahomes threw that last second interception. And Chris Collinsworth, all he did that was the most athletic play I've ever seen. Yeah, he threw it to the wrong guy.
It was against the Bucks, I think. It was against Brady.
Yes, it was.
It was Brady.
It was an interception, and Chris Collinsworth, he's the greatest. Like, no,
it wasn't. He threw it to the wrong person. He threw it to the wrong person. I'm going, yes. I'm sorry, but yeah, because that was like the play that you was just like, okay, the game's over, done at that point. But
so here's a big topic for you, and I'd like to get everyone's thoughts on this. So after the hit Tua took last year, do you think he should have retired?
For his own safety, yes.
Yeah.
But he has the rest of his life. He's in a bad spot, and it's a dangerous sport to play.
He gets hit again. He gets wrecked. It's gonna be worse. It's what. I forget what sports thing I saw. They were saying that like they have no idea why he's even thinking about playing. It's just ridiculous.
And on top of that, he refused the Guardian cap.
He doesn't know how to take a hit is the problem. He shouldn't be playing football, in my opinion, right now. It's a shame because he's so talented, but
But playing football, regularly is dangerous enough. Let alone if you don't understand how to actually do it.
And I get, like, all these guys, they're all competitors. They want to be out there. But at some point, after you've had what's happened to him, you need to be like, I'm not playing football anymore. I am done. Someone has to tell him. Now, I did see the new Tua helmet somewhere, and it was something like medieval type of thing. It was like
it's the Juggernaut helmet.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the Juggernaut helmet. It looked hilarious. But even that wouldn't save it.
There's a point in time
or something. Take a hit. He's just not taking the right plays is what it comes down to.
Who was there was someone recently that recently retired because they were like, look, I've been hit too many times. I'm done with it. Who else? Who was? Yeah. It was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's just even though it's like, I get it. You should, like, someone like Tua should like, hey, look at that. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should take a break or something. But
he's got to live the rest of his life, man. Like, I fear for his safety. I truly do. Like, because it could end up a disaster of unparalleled proportions.
Ultimately, though,
let's say walking the Hammy Sons.
Correct.
That's his prerogative to do so, right?
Yeah, it's his life, his body, but that's just
And Dan, speaking of your Commanders a little while ago, Hammy just came in. He pulled a huge your favorite quarterback card yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go and take a look at it.
Monster,
But
Nice.
it's a big one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Monster.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So next question, we'll keep moving on here is, are the Colts after this year done with Anthony Richardson? Do we see him moving on? Because it seems like he's got so many chances, but nothing's working there.
He's on a really short leash, right?
He has.
I think the problem with Anthony Richardson is he's not accurate enough, right? He completes like under 50% of his passes. If he could find the short ball and figure that out in his game, because he's got a great deep ball and he's athletic, he's just lacking a couple things. He's like reverse Kaepernick or something, you know?
Exactly. His problem is he's far more accurate 30-plus yards down the field than he is at, 5 to 20. Like, that's where you get the plays. Like, not everything can be a 50-yard bomb, and he's just very inaccurate at those mid to short range passes.
Yep.
And those are the ones that can get you. It can get you games. Yeah, the short. Like, sorry, Vince. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I really like him, but I just feel like, and I've said this before, these guys, they have to start from day one. Like, that's hard to do. Like, you need to learn playing in college. You play some good teams throughout the year, but like at the NFL, they're coming at you every single Sunday.
Yeah.
Grown men. He needs time just to, get acclimated, learn that touch pass and everything. And I still think he's going to be a good quarterback. I mean, he has Danny Dimes breathing down him this year, though, so we'll see what happens there. But I think he's one that's going to be okay.
Hammy's 100% correct.
Hammy had a good thing here. He said he's lacking a solid receiver. My number 2 receivers is not a true number 1.
Yep, and that's he has a lot of good hand receivers, but he doesn't have that over the top give me the ball receiver. He doesn't. If he got one, different ball game, because he is exciting to watch. He is exciting to watch, but he's just way too out of control. Right now.
Michael Pittman, that's their one right now. So he needs someone else.
Yeah, he could use somebody big, and if he gets that, it's an entirely different ball game for the Colts, guaranteed. Because if he can get that deep threat with his deep accuracy, they're going to be a force.
So that brings me on to, yeah.
They need a good tight end, a good catching tight end.
A tight end that can block, catch, and run all.
Yeah,
you need someone like that.
Every young quarterback needs that safety valve of a good, solid tight end. Period.
Yeah.
Like if I'm scared, dump it to that guy 5 yards downfield. At least I get a completion.
I know earlier Robert had a question about Bryce Young and the Panthers. Are we going to see Bryce Young start back with the Panthers?
100%.
Yes. I think Bryce Young looked really good at the end of last year. And you know what? The Panthers could be kind of a sleeper team, to be honest. They got good running backs. And their Bryce Young, I think, it's just that for his first rookie year and like this first half of the second year, he had no team around him, but they really started to put it together, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he took the benching well, and he learned from it. And he came out, when he came back, he was a different quarterback. It's like, okay, maybe we were wrong. Maybe Bryce Young does have it. So he's fighting for it, and I 100% say give him the reins, let him run with it, and see what he can do.
He's still on a pretty bad team, though.
Oh, no.
I wasn't going to say that. You could have a better team.
But he's showing like, hey, you know what? So if it might not be in Carolina, he might prove enough to get a look elsewhere.
Gets another year and a half, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
So, another question for you guys. Out of the free agency, who won the free agency so far? Which teams won the best free agency so far?
I mean, the Packers did get McManus back in free agency, so I feel like that's pretty big for them. But I'm sure someone else has done more. And I always make fun of the Bears, but I feel like they have had a good free agency getting things they actually need. In the past, they would just get a flashy receiver or just, someone's not top of the chain, but I mean, they did a lot with their line. So as much as I hate to say it.
Yeah, the Bears, Washington. Washington had a very solid offseason. Minnesota, I think, had a pretty good offseason as well.
I'm happy with the Raiders' moves. We're unlikely to draft Shedeur Sanders. I'm thinking they still might do something stupid like that, but it could very well happen. Yeah. But I like what the Raiders did as well in the offseason.
The Raiders, you know what? And I was thinking about, because they just extended Geno Smith today or yesterday.
Max Crosby got an extension, and
it's like, okay, because right now they don't have anybody that's really that big money guy. It's like, but it gives them a lot of room to play, and I think I'm going to stick with it. Pete Carroll is a man that can turn a franchise around, because he's a great coach of that old school mentality, and he's not afraid to bench somebody. He doesn't care. He's Pete Carroll. What does he care?
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the diva. If it's a he'll put a diva on the bench and just let him sit there and be like, I don't care. You can sit there and wait it out.
Exactly. Him and Belichick did the same thing. It's like, sit down. Belichick did it in the Super Bowl. He lost the Super Bowl to prove a point.
They were going to lose it anyways, but still, they were.
But still, it's like he showed, like, I don't care.
I don't care. You're pissing me off. You can sit over there until I say you can get up. And you're sitting in timeout, basically. Yeah.
Let's see where Aaron Rodgers goes before we crown someone the winner of the offseason.
Well, doesn't that mean wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, doesn't it mean that team lost?
No, wherever he goes, the other 31 teams won.
Basically,
Which means everybody outside of the Steelers is going to win, because he's going to go to Pittsburgh. Nobody on that franchise wants him except Mike Tomlin, and nobody's stopping him.
No,
I feel like Rodgers could have one more good go in him. He was still accurate last year. That's the one thing I think is still working in his favor. He just, I don't know, I love him as a Packer. I am glad that we are gone from him. I mean, that's a tough move to make, to get rid of a Hall of Famer like that and then go on to another kid. But, I mean, I love.
Well, the Packers have done it twice. You got to think about it. Favre and then him, it was one after the other. So the Packers got a good chance of him being there. You never know.
I was so mad when Don Majkowski got hurt and Favre came in. I was like, man, the Magic Man's down.
So
exactly.
I think we're overlooking a team that we haven't talked about tonight, and that is the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix has really turned that team around.
Bo Nix, he plays better. He played a lot better than I thought he would. But what did they really do this offseason? I can't remember.
They haven't done nothing, but
they haven't done anything. I haven't heard them on their name in any of the news. They had a good team. They had a decent team. It's just they didn't.
It's really their defense that carries the Broncos, in my opinion. Because Nix is a good quarterback. But I don't think he's the best in the class, right? And there could be other quarterbacks that are still being overlooked, even like Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix, Penix are kind of on the same level, in my opinion.
I'm calling it now.
Rattler's good.
I'm calling it now. Week 7, Spencer Rattler is going to be the starter.
Yeah, he's good. I like him.
Did I like? Yeah, I think he could take over for Carr, no problem.
All right. So before we do the draw, I want to get your guys' thoughts on who is going to be, or your surprise team this year is going to be. Who's your surprise team going to be this year for the NFL?
Good surprise or bad surprise?
Let's go with good.
Okay. For me, the Raiders.
Think about this.
Yes. I think the Raiders. I firmly believe that. And I'm not just saying that because Aaron's here. Pete Carroll's up to something. I think the Raiders are going to be that sleeper team, and I think they squeak into the playoffs on a wild card.
I can see that.
Aaron?
Aaron's praying.
I'll go with the Panthers. They're no offense to the Buccaneers, but they're not. That division's not the strongest division in the NFL.
No,
any team can win that division if they win enough in division games, in my opinion.
At the midway of last season, I'd say it's always been usually been up between for years it was Atlanta and the Saints, and then the Bucks got good. And then it was like, okay, who's it going to be? And then, yeah, I gotta agree. It's been for the first half of the season. It was kind of like, okay, it's Atlanta and the Bucks. New Orleans having a crappy year, and all of a sudden, New Orleans came out of nowhere and started trying to go for it. But you're right, it could be a good one.
And I think
Vince?
also, real quick, I'm very curious to see what Penix can do in Atlanta. I'm curious.
And obviously, I think the Packers are going to win a Super Bowl. I mean, I can't say anything different until we're mathematically eliminated.
Go Bucks.
Hey, I sat in the stands and watched them win the Super Bowl in 2010, by the way.
Very jealous, very jealous. So they're actually, Atlanta's the one team with Penix I was kind of thinking about, but I like Denver as well. As you look at Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, I feel like maybe next year Bo Nix stat-wise, he was very good last year. Almost 30 touchdowns, right? Maybe
he had a great year.
Half interceptions, and I feel like they could take the next step going forward.
I think so.
Yeah.
Chris?
I'm going to say I'm actually going to go with Washington. They're going to be, even though they were surprised this past season, I think they're going to surprise people again because a lot of people because a lot of the sports guys in this area have said, "Oh, Washington got lucky. They just got lucky. They're not going to get lucky." I think they're going to surprise some people again next season. But also, I do think the Raiders are going to be another surprise as well. But I think the big one is I think the Bucks are really not the Bucks. The Bucks aren't going to do it. I think they're going to have a mediocre year. But Washington, I think, is really going to surprise some people again. They're going to have a really good year. They dug out a lot of the games that they won last year, and I think they're going to do it again this year and surprise a lot of people. It's going to be they're going to show that they actually are a good team. I think they're going to prove it this year.
My surprise team is going to be the Patriots with Drake May and new coach.
Yeah,
I want to.
I'm very curious. Very curious.
There could that's one of those ones. It's either going to be a great season, or it's going to be a bad season.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. Yeah, for that one there is no going to be okay. We're going to squeak into we're going to get a good number of wins and whatever. But I think it's either going to be they're going to have a great season or they're going to be at the bottom of the barrel. That's my opinion.
All right. So
I think the Bengals
we're going to do the draw tonight.
Bengals.
They need to because this is their last year.
The Bengals.
Yeah,
We're going to put this on the
big.
big.
Do it and have not.
Yeah. And the Jags, too. I would really like to see the Jags get somewhat better because I still believe in Trevor Lawrence, even though that long, luscious hair.
Those beautiful golden locks.
I like him as a player and as a human being because I ran into him in Las Vegas after his rookie season. Very, very good kid. Got his head on his shoulders, got his head straight. I'm a big fan of him. I think they overpaid him because that's a lot of money. That's just a lot of money.
I think, I agree on that one, Zach. But I also, it's another thing with that team. They have nobody to catch the ball and nobody to defend.
Yeah.
All right, so it's giveaway time. For everyone in the panel, we are giving away this tonight. I have the names of everyone who typed in the chat and on the panel in a hat. We're doing the old school. We got the names in the hat. We're going to shake it up. We're going to draw it. I'll get you guys to count down from 4, starting with Aaron.
3, 2, 1.
Zach.
Hit it! Oh, 3. Yeah.
2.
Oh,
1. Go.
I got it now.
Oh, one fell out.
There you go.
That's me right there.
That's
So, the winner of the giveaway, I don't know if we'll see it, is Dig It, eh?
There you go.
There you go.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Dick.
Let's go, Dick.
Dick, congratulations. This is going to be coming your way.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Prestige is a fun set.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The
So
set design is
congratulations,
beautiful this
Dick.
year.
Oh, there he is. I wasn't sure if he was still. Yeah, dude. Congrats.
So why don't we go around the table and let everyone know what you guys got going on for your channels. We'll start with Chris.
I've got actually. I'm just gonna reach over here and grab it. I got a pile. I've got hit up the shop late today. Got a big old pile of packs coming up for. I found Japanese Pokemon. I never find it in my area, so I bought a couple packs.
Wow.
I got some soccer, some hockey, and some F1. I found some more F1, so I'm gonna throw that in some Sunday packs. And got some other. Hopefully, going to be getting some more hobby stuff sometime soon for my Thursdays. But other than that, nothing real special going on.
Vince, what about you?
So kind of took this week off a little bit. I was on spring break. I was live with Hammy on, I think, Tuesday and live here today. So we'll be back in the classroom next week with the regular stuff. And then we've got a Favre Mania coming up in about 2 weeks. We're going to go digging for some Brett Favre's and some hobby products. So the greatest football of all time. No one's going to want to miss that.
Zach?
Usual. Jank Pack Thursday. I'll probably eat gum because I want to get rid of it. Although Tim has said, I have an entire tin, literally. Yeah, there we go. He has an entire tin full of what he sent me the first time of cards with the gum still attached to it in sleeves, in penny sleeves, that he's sending my way. Then he said he also has a jar full of gum. Julie Farm has got a hobby box of some old hockey from 89 or 90. She said, "Oh, I'll send you a bunch." Oh, you guys are too good to me.
Actually, the packs
Aaron?
that you opened up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'll go for it, man. It's all good.
No, those packs that you opened up on your Thursday, those Youngblood. I just saw a brand new box at the shop, at hobby shop I was at today.
Oh, really?
They had a brand new box. Yes.
Wow.
I was like, hey, I saw those the other day.
How random is that?
Yeah, very
Those are cool
random.
cards. I like those.
And Zach, I don't know what you did. Like Tim sent me some of these Cubs buttons. I wore one of them to work today, and he's sending you gum that's older than most of the people here today. So
Right.
I don't know what you did.
I angered someone somewhere, which doesn't surprise me if I'm honest. I know what I am, and it ain't good half the time.
We'll go to my Friday night buddy who's on after me. What's going on with your channel there, Aaron?
All right. Well, we have Aloha Friday after this, and pretty much every Friday, and we'll just hang out. Everybody's more than welcome to hang out, open some packs, and then we'll do the live panel like we always do. But man, that was the crustiest piece of gum I've ever seen that you ate on Thursday. I don't even know. That was gross, man.
Everybody asks me, it's like I've never gotten sick from it. It just tastes horrifying, and I taste it for like 2 days. That's the worst that comes out of it.
I haven't had one of those pieces of gum in like, I guess, 30 years, and I can taste that stuff now. Just think of it would taste like, ugh.
What's your address?
Oh God,
91 Bowling.
No.
So for me,
not just the thing from Dan, but not just the thing from Tim. In the box, I have another box of like 90 Bowman hockey that has, or no, 90 OPG that has gum in it. Yeah,
we're doing a pack battle with the gum, Zach, at some point.
Good Lord.
So for me coming up, I have Eli Sussman coming back on from Locked On Fish for next Friday. Or we're actually doing it Saturday because he's actually going to be at a Marlins game Friday. So we're doing it Saturday night, and he's going to be back, and we're going to talk some baseball. This is opening season, and the Marlins are on a win streak right now, which surprised me. They're 4-1 or something? So that shocks me. Then after that, we got Christopher Works coming on Friday the 18th.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And
Obi, we'll check and see if Obi, because they're playing tonight. Let's see if Obi got the record. Hold on. He maybe
Then
got it. I
on
doubt it.
Friday the 25th, we have the show sponsor Kai coming back on.
Nice.
And he's got some
Nice.
goodies to bring with him. So that's going to be fun too as well. But yeah, so that's the lineup for this week. And I'm sure by the time football season rolls around, we're going to have another football takeover number 3. And maybe Commish will grace us with his presence for this one.
You're funny.
So we can't get, I didn't come. And Hammy, if you want to come on too, just give me a shout on Instagram. Just reach out to any one of these guys that'll reach out to you for me, and we'll bring you on to the next one as well.
Definitely.
Heck yeah.
Okay. And the Caps are losing to the Blackhawks right now.
Oh, jeez. How many
God
goals
has a
does
sense of
Bedard
humor.
have?
Oh,
Like Danny's beard. How many goals does Bedard have?
0. He's probably
Nothing.
kicked
He has
out.
none. He's got no goals. Obi's got a goal. He's basically one away from tying. So he's got 1 goal. Yeah, he's got 1 goal. I was kind of hoping he would get 2 tonight. But he's got his 1, so almost there. Obi's almost there.
I didn't
So-
tell you guys the best part.
There we go.
It's not a
Lane
Bedard
Hudson.
card. There's a nice Lane Hudson patch. and hold this.
I didn't tell you guys the best part when I was gone for those 2 weeks.
Uh-oh.
My kids that I coach brought some Bedard cards, so I ripped them all up before the game, and we got 3rd place in the tournament.
Hey, there you go. You're on to the
Oh my
system.
god.
So there you go. Bedard is garbage.
Did they all scream and cry and hit the floor go, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" Or what did they
No, they
how did they
loved
react
it.
to that? Oh, they loved it.
They
Oh,
loved it.
Oh my gosh.
Just wait till next year, Dan. Just wait till next year.
Oh my.
For him to be kicked out of more games.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
But no, heck,
That was a ridiculous
thank you all.
ejection. that he should
Thank
not
you
have been-
all for
that was
coming.
ridiculous.
I appreciate you all guys coming tonight. It's always fun when we get together and talk some football. We got some great rants going on tonight. It's always fun. Thank you to the chat. Congratulations
Thanks,
to Dig It
guys.
for winning the giveaway. That's
Yeah, dude.
for my
Congrats,
300
Dig.
subscribers. So congratulations to Dig. And thank you to my great guests tonight as well. It's always a pleasure when we all get to hang out again,
Pleasure.
see each
That was
other's
fun.
faces. But yeah, so definitely check out Aaron Aloha Fridays on after me this week. Like I said, next week we'll be on Saturday night just because of Eli's schedule. Kind of Friday night didn't work out, so we'll be doing Saturday night, same time. Hopefully it doesn't conflict with you and Tim, Zach,
I'll talk
because I
to
know
Tim.
you guys got that thing going on too.
We'll figure it out because that's going to be a good show.
Yes, definitely check out Zach and Tim's show coming up on Saturday night as well. That's going to be a fun one. But yeah, thank everyone for coming. We appreciate all you guys. Like I said, this isn't possible without all you guys. So we appreciate you. Thanks. And go over to Aloha Fridays now, or I'm going to come to your house
In about an hour and
and
a half.
disconnect your internet.
I'll see you in the morning, Aaron.
Yeah, I'll see you when you wake up. Let me know when you get your coffee, and I'll rip a pack
Sounds
for you,
good.
kid.
Yeah, that's
But no, thanks everyone for coming. This is Dan. This is my great panel of guests, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thanks.
Bye.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Dan. You guys enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dan.
Later, guys.